to this question. It's kind of the flip side of the question you just asked, which is, do you think, beyond the fact that you're very proficient in writing in metrics and Latin, do you think that your work has poetic value? Not to like, I really like your work.
Yeah.
I don't mean to, there's not another way to ask that question.
Yeah, well, yes, it's a good, interesting question. Yeah, I mean, it's something you think about, isn't it? Yeah, I think over time I would like to produce a body of work that is not insignificant anyway. I mean, how it will last, heaven knows. I mean, as is true for most contemporary poets. I mean, I haven't yet published quite as much as I would like, but some is published in other places as well as the anthologies I showed you, and I hope quite a bit more will be published in the future. So yes, it is going to reach a wider audience. A lot of it is quite sort of ephemeral and occasional, and I think what people in the future will think about the poetic value of that is questionable, certainly. But of course, a lot of the poems that we do read now, I mean, in English, or other languages, or for that matter in classical Latin, they have an ephemeral and occasional origin, but yet we are prepared to take them outside that context and judge them. I mean, so many of these epigrams of Marshall or whatever, very often have a very trivial, ephemeral origin, and we may well think that now they're pretty pointless too, but nevertheless, they're canonical great authors of the past who wrote pretty trivial poems. On the other hand, yes, I do want to go beyond the trivial, and how it's going to last, heaven knows. I think in terms of presentation to the outside world, I think it will be worth my thinking about the more ephemeral and occasional ones, explaining pretty clearly, in English I should think, what the occasion is, what I'm up to, rather than leaving it as a sort of puzzle for the future. And I think it's often so frustrating actually if we're looking at ancient or Renaissance texts, that we don't have this information. I mean, why on earth didn't Marshall or whoever tell us what he's on about? Because this is an occasional poem from people we've never heard of. Actually, I don't know what people's reaction might be. Some of the ones I have read, some of them I haven't. But there are occasional poems addressed to people you've never met. See all these Belgians. None of you in America know. I say maybe one or two of you have heard of one or two of them, but basically these are people you don't know. So, the cat of a person you don't know, is that an interesting subject for a poem or not? Well, if it's going to have any value at all outside just entertaining one individual, it has to be saying something that is of potential general interest. So that's what I'm trying to do. How it succeeds most of the time, heaven knows. Well, one of the things that I didn't bother to read from the handout is, as well as Belgium, there are some visits to Poland and so on. I gave a reading in Poland a few years ago, and I did write some poems about people at that Polish event. Where it is now? Yeah, on page 3 is a poem about a place in Poland called Opole. On pages 6 and 7 there are poems to individuals who I've met on that Polish occasion. Philo Radler is a really lovely man and a very good, he's a professor at Göttingen, if I remember rightly, retired now. I mean, he is a German Latin poetry enthusiast who writes in sort of medieval rhythmical fashion. Mark Moskowitz is an American who did then, or perhaps still does, run a website for modern Latin poetry. Karin Zeleny is a damsel with a dulcimer, a very sort of exotic Austrian lady who writes pretty good poetry. And David Money is a fat poet, slightly fatter at the time of writing, and subsequently, though, I mean, a week in Kentucky and a week in Michigan is liable to send me back to the previous trouser size. So, yeah, trivial little verses in there. I mean, I've said fat poet pouring out these iambics. Thanks everybody for their kindness and enjoyed the festivities very much, and provided a festive meal for the mosquitoes at the same time. so it's a trivial little jeu d'esprit. Don't say it has great lasting value, but actually that sort of thing, little occasional poems that may have an element of wit or something about them, I think that can go beyond the trivial. Obviously, the more serious poems I write, yes, I do think they have some point, things like That Great Wall or something, military poems, or some love poems that are, again, perhaps go beyond the trivial. Yeah, if I'm aiming at something, that's what I'm aiming at. But I like frivolity and triviality too, so I think I don't think Latin poetry needs to be afraid of the trivial. Some of these things, yeah. If all they do is amuse a few people at the time and don't last very long, you haven't wasted much time doing them either, so no great loss and a bit of pleasure. So I think we can have both triviality and seriousness and posterity at the same time. So let's hear that posterity. I do have an interest both in living people getting something out of these and possibly in posterity. And there is a colleague of mine in England. Well, actually, he's an Englishman who works most of the time in North Carolina, and when I said this sort of thing to him, he writes history books, but he said, "Hey, what did posterity ever do for me?" I'm just fighting for immediate sort of financial success. But yes, I think both the present and the future are worth thinking about. But thank you, it's a very interesting question. Are there any further questions or comments?
Thank Professor Lang one last time.